What if luxury wasn't just something you owned, but something you commanded? In Monaco, every step, every glance, and every engine roar tells a story of power. This tiny principality isn't just the home of rare supercars, it's a living stage where elite women redefine what true luxury means. They don't need noise, attention, or dramatic entrances. Their presence alone can make an entire boulevard pause. Sunlight glides over carbon fiber curves, couture gowns shimmer beside V12 engines, and together they create a silent language spoken only in Monaco. Today, you're stepping inside a world few ever witness. A world where women are not only driving million-dollar machines, but also commanding financial empires, creative houses, and networks of influence that shape the identity of Monaco itself. If you love exploring hidden worlds of wealth, elegance, and power, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires, where every video takes you deeper into the lives that most people only dream about. But the most surprising part is how these women use supercars as a strategic symbol that even the global elite quietly respect. What if the most influential people in Monaco were the ones who spoke the least? Among the glamorous chaos of supercars, flashing cameras, and luxury boutiques, there exists a small circle of women whose presence alone can shift the mood of the entire city. They rarely appear in interviews, almost never share their private lives online, and yet every time they step into Casino Square or glide past Café de Paris, conversations stop. These are the women whose wealth doesn't need introduction. It's reflected in the way the world responds to them. They arrive quietly, often surrounded by nothing more than the soft echo of their heels and the deep, polished growl of a limited edition supercar. No entourage, no attempt to be seen. They know exactly who they are, and Monaco knows too. Their mystery becomes their signature. In a place overflowing with display and extravagance, their subtlety becomes the rarest luxury of all. Some of them control investment funds that influence parts of Europe's economy. Others own properties stretching from La Voto to the cliffs above Port Hercule. A few come from families whose names never appear in tabloids, but whose decisions help shape art markets, fashion trends, or even philanthropic movements. They don't chase attention. Attention naturally redirects itself toward them. And the most fascinating part isn't their wealth, it's their aura. They move with a confidence built from decades of influence, experience, and independence. When they step out of a $2 million hypercar, it isn't the price that captivates people. It's the feeling that you're witnessing someone who doesn't just live in Monaco, she defines it. But what truly intensifies their mystique is the way they choose to express power through their supercars. A language only the elite understand, and a strategy even more intentional than it appears. In Monaco, elite women don't choose supercars the way most people choose cars. They select them the way a strategist chooses their next move, with precision, intention, and a deep understanding of what each model communicates. A Ferrari might speak passion, a McLaren whispers engineering dominance, while a Bugatti quietly states, "I answer to no one." Here, the car is not an accessory, it is an extension of identity. For these women, a supercar is part of a larger language of influence. The choice of color alone can signal everything: matte black for quiet authority, pearl white for untouchable elegance, liquid silver for calm dominance. Even the stitching of the leather interior matches their couture outfits or luxury handbags, not to show off, but to maintain a seamless, curated identity. Every detail is intentional. Some prefer limited edition models, one of 10, one of 20, not to flaunt rarity, but to express individuality. Others commission bespoke designs from manufacturers, turning their supercar into a rolling signature, something unmistakably theirs. The sound of the engine becomes part of their entrance, a subtle cue that the city's energy is about to shift. People often assume these cars are bought for attention. In reality, attention is simply a side effect. The true purpose lies in control. A well-timed arrival at Monte Carlo, a smooth glide through the harbor roads, or an unexpected appearance at a private event sends signals to those who understand the codes of Monaco's elite culture. And the fascinating truth is this: in a place where wealth is everywhere, strategy becomes the real mark of superiority. That's why the supercars these women choose don't just move through Monaco, they subtly influence its rhythm. But their mastery of luxury doesn't stop at choosing the right car, because every morning in Monaco begins with a ritual that reveals even more about who truly holds power. For elite women in Monaco, mornings are not rushed, hours filled with schedules and alarms. They are a carefully designed ritual, a choreography of precision, elegance, and control. The city may be small, but the way these women move through it transforms every morning into a visual symphony. Their day often begins in penthouses overlooking the calm blue of the Mediterranean. Soft classical music, minimalist interiors, fresh white orchids, everything arranged to set the tone of clarity and intention. Before the world even wakes up, they have already curated their energy for the day. But the real performance starts when they step out. Their supercar isn't just waiting in the garage, it's positioned, detailed, and aligned at the exact angle where the first morning sunlight touches its paint. The timing isn't accidental. In Monaco, morning arrivals are a silent competition, a coming together of confidence and elegance. Moving through Avenue Monte Carlo at 9:15 communicates something entirely different from arriving at 9:27. The elite understand these microsignals and they use them well. Their route is also calculated. A stop at a specific cafe near Place du Casino, a short drive past the boutiques of the Carré d'Or, or a perfectly timed arrival at a private art viewing, every move is a message sent to the rest of the elite community. To outsiders, it looks effortless. To insiders, it's a language. The pace of the drive, the car they choose for the morning mood, even the music heard when the door opens. Every detail is part of an image they shape with absolute precision. But what most people never realize is that the roads they choose aren't random either. Because Monaco has hidden routes and secret paths that only the true elite know how to use. While tourists fill Casino Square and crowd around the famous hairpin turn, Monaco's elite women navigate a completely different map, a Monaco that exists behind the public version. Their routes are carefully chosen not just for convenience, but for privacy, scenery, and the way each curve elevates the supercar experience. One of their favorites is a quiet coastal stretch near the eastern cliffs, where the sea breeze hits the car just as the sunlight breaks through. It's a place where the sound of a V12 echoes off the rocks like a soft symphony. Never loud, always elegant. They drive here when they want to feel the freedom that only a near-empty road and a world-class machine can create. Another hidden pathway winds above Port Hercule. It's narrow, almost too discreet, but it offers a stunning view of the harbor that only a handful of residents ever see. Driving here isn't about speed, it's about perspective, a reminder of the city they quietly influence. Then there are the private access tunnels connected to certain residences and luxury buildings. These aren't listed on maps, and most locals don't even know they exist. They allow the elite to enter and exit the city without ever crossing public roads. For women who value privacy and security more than anything, these pathways are priceless. What makes these routes fascinating is not just their exclusivity, but the way they reflect Monaco's deeper truth. Real luxury here isn't about being seen, it's about choosing when and how to be seen. And the accessories that accompany these drives, from haute couture pieces to multi-million-dollar jewelry, reveal an even more breathtaking layer of Monaco's elite lifestyle. For Monaco's elite women, a supercar is never just a supercar. It is part of a complete visual composition. Every appearance is curated with the precision of a high-fashion campaign. When they slide out of a rare Ferrari, Pagani, or Aston Martin, they're not only stepping out of a machine worth millions, they're stepping into a moment designed with intention, a titanium. Richard Mille with a skeleton dial might match the exposed carbon fiber of a McLaren Senna. A rose gold Patek Philippe complements the warm undertones of a champagne-colored Bentley. Even the stitching on their Hermes bags often harmonizes with the seat upholstery inside their supercar. Nothing is accidental. Everything speaks the same language of refinement. Jewelry plays an equally strategic role. Diamond bracelets catch the Monaco sun at just the right angle when paired with a white Maserati, while emerald earrings stand out boldly against the deep navy of a limited edition Bugatti. These pieces are not there to attract attention, they create visual continuity. a signature aesthetic that only the most discerning eyes appreciate. This coordination goes far beyond fashion. It is a subtle display of mastery. Anyone can own luxury items, but only a few understand how to make them converse with each other. In a city where wealth is everywhere, sophistication becomes the real status symbol. And when these women step out for gala nights, private art viewings, or yacht gatherings, this harmony becomes even more striking. People don't just admire the car or the jewelry, they admire the presence that ties it all together. But the story doesn't end with what the public sees. Because some of the most extraordinary supercars aren't visible on the streets at all. They're hidden in private garages and underground vaults that only Monaco's true elite ever access. While tourists and car spotters marvel at Bugattis roaring through Casino Square, the true treasures of Monaco sit quietly behind closed doors. Elite women in the Principality often own collections so rare, so customized, and so valuable that they rarely, if ever, appear in public. These cars live in private spaces designed with the same meticulous care as art galleries. Some garages are built into hillside residences with climate control, museum-style lighting, and polished marble floors. Walking into one feels less like entering a parking area and more like stepping into a luxury exhibition. A one-of-three Aston Martin, a coach-built Ferrari, or a fully bespoke Rolls-Royce might sit on display, not for the world, but for the owner's personal enjoyment. Other garages exist beneath ultra-luxury buildings, accessible only through biometric entry or private elevators that lift the car directly to the owner's penthouse. These sky garages blur the line between home and machine. Imagine relaxing in a living room with a glass wall revealing your supercar glowing like a sculpture. Then there are the highly confidential underground vaults used by Monaco's wealthiest collectors. Hidden beneath layers of security, these spaces store hypercars worth tens of millions. They remain untouched by sunlight, paparazzi, or public eyes. Here, privacy becomes the ultimate luxury. For elite women, these hidden garages are not just storage, they are sanctuaries. Safe, silent, and inaccessible to everyone except those they trust. Each car reflects a chapter of their personal story, preserved with absolute discretion. But these secret collections are only one side of their world. Because when night falls in Monaco, these same women step into a completely different realm, one reserved exclusively for the most powerful female figures on the Riviera. When the sun sets, the city transforms. The tourists disappear, the streets grow quiet, and Monaco's elite women step into a world the public never sees. This is the realm of private soirees, invitation-only yacht gatherings, and intimate events where elegance meets influence. These gatherings aren't about flashing wealth, they are about connection, strategy, and presence. On a super yacht anchored near Port Hercule, you might find a philanthropist discussing her next art initiative, a business leader quietly shaping the direction of an upcoming investment, or a fashion icon unveiling a piece that won't be shown to the public for months. Supercars play a role here too. They arrive silently, lined up in a private marina or hidden courtyard, turning the entrance into a scene that feels like a cinematic moment. Each car reflects the personality of its owner, and when the doors open, the harmony between machine, jewelry, and couture becomes unmistakable. Inside these events, luxury is expressed through subtlety. Rare vintages poured sparingly, live musicians performing softly in the background, gowns made by designers who work with only a handful of clients worldwide. Conversations are calm, deliberate, and impactful. Every woman in the room knows she's sitting among peers who shape industries and inspire trends. What sets these nights apart isn't the exclusivity, it's the intelligence and intention behind every interaction. These women don't seek attention, they cultivate influence. And in Monaco, influence is the true currency. But what makes their presence truly remarkable is something deeper than their gatherings. Because even without speaking loudly or seeking visibility, these women possess a form of power that quietly shapes Monaco itself. While the world watches supercars and glamorous fashion, Monaco's elite women operate on a deeper level. Their true power isn't in what they own, but how they move through the world. They understand that influence doesn't always require attention. Sometimes, the most commanding presence is the one that draws respect without saying a single word. Their decisions, what events they attend, where they invest, which designers they support, which charities they elevate, have ripple effects across the Riviera. A simple appearance at a gallery opening can cause an artist's work to skyrocket in value. A quiet investment in a local business can reshape an entire district. Even their choice of car for the day sends subtle messages to those who understand Monaco's unspoken codes. These women shape culture through elegance, not noise. They're masters of timing, understanding when to be seen and when absence speaks louder than presence. Their confidence doesn't come from wealth alone. It comes from the freedom to choose, the discipline to remain private, and the clarity to influence without forcing anything. In Monaco, this is the highest form of luxury, effortless control. And that's why the city adapts to them more than they adapt to the city. Fashion houses request their feedback before releasing new lines. Luxury brands adjust limited edition designs based on their preferences. Even real estate trends shift depending on the neighborhoods they subtly gravitate toward. They don't need to dominate the spotlight, they guide it. But the most fascinating truth isn't just how they influence Monaco, it's how Monaco, in return, becomes the perfect stage that elevates their power even higher. In the end, Monaco is not defined by its cliffs, its yachts, or even its legendary supercars. It is defined by the women who move through it with a level of grace and confidence that transforms every corner of the principality into a symbol of refined power. Their influence isn't loud, it's lived. It's in the way they choose their mornings, curate their style, guide conversations, and shape entire industries without ever needing to step into the spotlight. Luxury, here, is not something they chase, it's something they craft. And as you've seen throughout this journey, these women don't just live in Monaco, they elevate it. They turn its streets into runways, its nights into private symphonies, and its supercars into instruments of expression. They show us that true power is subtle, intentional, and deeply personal. If you enjoyed stepping into this hidden world of elegance and influence, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires. Your support helps us bring you even closer to the stories, lifestyles, and unseen realities of the world's most extraordinary individuals. And trust me, what's coming next will reveal a side of Monaco that even luxury insiders rarely talk about. In the end, Monaco is not defined by its cliffs, its yachts, or even its legendary supercars. It is defined by the women who move through it with a level of grace and confidence that transforms every corner of the principality into a symbol of refined power. Their influence isn't loud, it's lived. It's in the way they choose their mornings, curate their style, guide conversations, and shape entire industries without ever needing to step into the spotlight. Luxury, here, is not something they chase, it's something they craft. And as you've seen throughout this journey, these women don't just live in Monaco, they elevate it. They turn its streets into runways, its nights into private symphonies, and its supercars into instruments of expression. They show us that true power is subtle, intentional, and deeply personal. If you enjoyed stepping into this hidden world of elegance and influence, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires. Your support helps us bring you even closer to the stories, lifestyles, and unseen realities of the world's most extraordinary individuals. And trust me, what's coming next will reveal a side of Monaco that even luxury insiders rarely talk about.